Far away, on the southwest tip of Africa, is a metropolis rich in history, surrounded by some of the world's finest landscapes. This is Cape Town, the mother city and South Africa's oldest town. This is a city with many faces, all of which you will be informed about in this documentary, taking you on an eye-opening journey into the soul of the city and its spectacular surroundings. Cape Town, which was founded by the Dutch and later expanded by the British, has no shortage of historical buildings. The Castle of Good Hope is perhaps Cape Town's most iconic building, constructed by Dutch colonialists in the 17th century, symbolizing the beginning of the town's development. The castle, which has two courtyards, has been the administrative headquarters and was also used as a prison and torture facility. The St. George's Cathedral is the first cathedral in southern Africa, with a simple yet stylish interior. This ornate building in the city center is the City Hall of Cape Town. This is the Parliament building, built during the British rule in the late 19th century. Welcome to the District 6 Museum. This former church was converted into a museum to commemorate the initial existence of District 6, home to a variety of races living together. The horrible apartheid regime drove its residents of different races to different areas and leveled the neighborhood. Next up on our journey is the Slave Lodge, where the slaves owned by the Dutch government spent their nights. The Dutch had a unique slave rental system, in which the government rented out slaves to citizens each day. These slaves were usually imported from the Dutch East Indies or East Africa. At night, Long Street comes to life with its renowned bars and restaurants. Outside the cosmopolitan downtown district is a completely different and much darker side to the city. The Cape Flats is an area notorious for its townships and shantytowns, ridden with crime and poverty. The Langa Township is the first township in Cape Town, established in 1927, 2 decades before the apartheid era. Families live in cramped conditions inside these apartments, with 3 to 6 families living in each room. Most residents of Langa belong to the Xhosa tribe, speaking their own language and performing traditional rituals. The locals own small businesses such as grocery stores, hair salons, and restaurants. The government is building new houses for the residents, but the project is corrupt and inefficient. During apartheid, this used to be an area only for blacks, although it was managed by whites. Around 40% of South Africans live in townships today, clearly showing the wide gap between the rich and the poor. To the north of the city is the Cape Winelands, a hilly area famous for its wineries. The winemaking industry was first introduced to the Cape shortly after the Dutch arrived. Today, the winelands continues to make some of the best wines in the world. The wineries not only offer superb wine tasting, but also boast historic architecture. Stellenbosch, South Africa's second oldest town, and the capital of the Cape Winelands. This picturesque town looks straight out of Europe. Its streets lined with so-called Cape Dutch buildings, found almost exclusively in the Western Cape province. Heading southwest from Cape Town, we enter one of the Cape's most attractive locations, the Cape Peninsula. Boulders Beach is a small slice of paradise with its turquoise ocean and a large colony of African penguins. These are some of the smallest penguins in the world, living only in southern Africa. These penguins dig nests in the sand, and the kids are gathered in nursery groups while mom and dad swim up in search of food. The laid-back Simonstown is worth visiting for its blend of Dutch and British architecture. The Cape of Good Hope is perhaps the region's most well-known landmark. This is the most southwestern point of Africa. And this is Cape Point, which is the extreme tip of the peninsula. It's stunning looking down at the ocean hundreds of meters below. This lighthouse was built in 1859 on the top of Cape Point, offering an unobstructed view of the peninsula's end. On the way back to Cape Town lies an opportunity to travel down the Chapman's Peak Drive, carved on a cliff by prisoners. Driving east along the coast, the pleasant town of Hermanus is famed for its whales roaming the sea. It's a great day trip destination from Cape Town, with breathtaking views of False Bay along the way. In addition to whale watching, ATVing and rafting is also possible, and if you wish to head further east, the next town of Gansbaai is where you can encounter great white sharks in the cage dive. Cape Town is a truly rewarding place to visit. I hope this video has helped you discover just how incredible this region is, and hopefully you now have a better understanding of it. I strongly encourage you to visit Cape Town and its surroundings, because you really should experience it. Now thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please support me by liking this video and subscribing to my channel, and spread the word by sharing it with your friends.